the name had stuck. When the girl did not reappear after a long minute, Zack imagined she was standing before the front doors of the tower and taking in the impressive view on the opposite side. The quarter-mile-wide Grand River, the range of mountains to the northeast, the thick forest on both sides and across the water, the clear sky above. From that spot, everything was deep blue or lush emerald, endless and broad. The girl was most likely admiring all of it, just as Zack and his brother and sisters had done every day since they'd moved to Vista Point 5 days before. Their new house was only an hour away from Rosenberg, the only place they'd ever called home, but it might as well have been in another country. Vista Point was a speck on the map, more a community of scattered houses and large plots of land, while Rosenberg was the biggest city in the state. A fresh start will do us all good, Zack's mother and father had said so many times over the past several weeks that Zack had begun to wonder if they believed it, or if they mainly wanted him and his siblings to believe it. During the previous winter, his parents had found a fixer-upper put up for sale by an elderly couple who could no longer maintain the home or the property, and now the future was starkly laid out. The Einsteins would be turning the bottom floor of their new house into a bed and breakfast, something Zack had come to understand was sort of like a small hotel set up in a regular home. Why his father had quit his architect's job at the Valencia and Hartnett firm to serve people scrambled eggs and change their bedsheets, and why Zack's mother seemed just as eager to join in, abandoning her teacher training coursework at Rosenberg Community College, was something that didn't seem to add up. He couldn't understand their enthusiasm for the move or why they'd become intent on relocating to the middle of nowhere. "I think Mom and Dad feel we won't be so sad about Susan if we move," Miriam had once told him. But Zack couldn't get the words to make sense. Zack continued to stare out his window, yet the girl did not reappear. He wondered if maybe she had descended the slope and then circled back into the forest, which would be the surest way of departing, or approaching the tower if a person didn't want to be seen from the house. Zack glanced at his clock. 3:17. His mother and his siblings had gone to the nearby small town of Thornton Falls for the afternoon and weren't due to return for another hour. They'd all pressed Zack to join them. His father, too, had encouraged him to get out. But, as had been his habit ever since the awful night the previous August, he was more comfortable staying in his room and reading. He had no desire to be around people, around crowds. "First day of summer's a good time to explore, Z," Ethan, only 3 merit badges from becoming an Eagle Scout, had told him at lunch by way of encouraging him to join them on their afternoon outing. "You should come with us. There's a map store we could check out." "I'm taking the basketball, Zack," Miriam, the athlete of the bunch, had said when Zack had indicated he was going to stay home. "We could play horse. I'll even show you my new crossover move." "Or we could all compose poems under the gazebo in the town square," Ruth had said, giving her sister a well-practiced and exaggeratedly eager look because she knew writing was the last thing Miriam would want to do. And Miriam had goggled her eyes right back, all in good fun. Zack understood, and even appreciated that his siblings went out of their way to try to include him and make him laugh. He just wasn't in the mood to be cheered up. Ever. Now, all he could think about was that he had another hour to himself, and the girl who looked like Susan was out there somewhere, near the tower. He waited a minute, and then another minute, watching all the while. The thought came to him that maybe the girl was lost, or maybe she had tried to go inside or had even hurt herself somehow. That she had gone to the tower and was still out of sight was worrying him. Zack glanced at his clock once more, looked back at the tower, and then slipped on his shoes and departed his room, hopping quickly down the stairs. "Gonna go outside for a few, Dad," he called as he dashed for the front door. "Don't be gone long," his father said. But Zack was already out the door and heading for the tower, thinking as he began to jog, maybe that girl needs help. Chapter 2. The Forbidden Tower. The tower was absolutely forbidden to the 4 Einstein kids. They were allowed to admire it from the outside, the clean lines of gray sandstone bricks that made up its walls, the precise planes of its 9 sides.